Now, Pearl, talk to me about what made you decide to run for the Memphis City Council District 3 position, correct?
Yes, that is correct. So as you said, I've been active in the community, and I ran in 2019 for Super District 8-1. And since then, I've just continued to do the work. And people were asking me as we got closer. I think a lot of people thought the council races were last year. You know how we unfortunately get those things mixed up. And they were saying, you're running for council this year. And I was like, well, that's next year. And I knew it was time for me to go on and decide. So between people asking me and me also kind of wanting to do it again, I at some point I decided to run again. I wanted to take my community work to the next level and be able to affect policy and impact my community to a broader scale.
So, Pearl, a lot of people think that it's easy to be an elected official. It's really, you're not really running anything, but it is about creating great policy that will have an impact on so many lives.
Absolutely.
Is there anything in particular, like your top 3 policy issues that you're interested in?
I'll give you my top 3, and hopefully I can relate them to policy. So I am concerned about the information gap in our community. And a lot of things that everywhere I go, I'm hearing, I didn't know, how did you find out about that? Or people finding out about things after the fact. There's still a lot of people in the community who don't know what 311 is and what they do. And I feel that a lot of the work, not that I'm trying to cut the work short, but a lot of the work that the elected officials and our leadership do for the community could be supported by people having more information. And if I want to be creative and get with my colleagues and see how we can come up with a policy that would help people be able to access information. And you're in the information business. The city of Memphis has a great website that was recently updated, and a lot of people still don't know about it. And if they could just know about it and sign up for those updates, I think that their lives and our communities could be enhanced to a greater degree. So that's one thing, bridging that information gap, keeping the citizens informed. Secondly, lifting people out of poverty. If we address that, we can address a lot of things. Certainly the crime, and I do believe it's twofold. It's not just so much about responding to the crime, but we got to take a deep dive and look at some of these things that are contributing to the crime. So it's a two-sided coin, definitely, and we've just got to take a deep dive on both sides so we can come up with some solutions whereby we want to deal with the crimes themselves, but like I said, we got to deal with the other side as well.
And before you go on to your third, I absolutely agree with you, Pearl. I mean, we do have a high poverty rate in Memphis, but I also think, and the crime rate continues to increase, but I think that a lot of it is related to the lack of job opportunities.
Certainly. You
know what I'm saying? And then I'm just a firm believer in people do want to work. And I hear all the time from some folk don't want to work. But I do believe people want to work. They want to be able to provide for their families. And I think that will help in the reduction of crime,
I agree.
So I think it's a dual track. I think you're absolutely right. And what was your third thing?
And my third thing is, well, I kind of touched on it already, but clean and safe communities. So safe, that's tying into addressing the crime, and the data is there as it relates to the blight and illegal dumping and those areas that are plagued with that versus where the hot pockets of the crime are located. And it also has a psychological impact on the residents if they're in clean spaces versus these cluttered spaces, and just having that community pride. If you have an area where you don't have to wake up to that every morning, drive home to it, every day. Part of my background is in environmental and energy justice, and so we have these green spaces around the city in addition to the things that I just mentioned. And so I would like to be an advocate on the council for clean communities.
Yeah.
Cleaner. Mm-hmm.
So another thing is, if you're elected, your role will be to look at those policies, but a big part of it will be the budget.
Absolutely. Great ideas have a cost.
Exactly.
So thank you. And so that comes into play as well. It's not enough to have these great ideas, but they come with a price tag. And so I have found out, Strickland leaving this year, the city will be in the black, and it's going to create this $50 million surplus. So hopefully the council will be able to access some of those funds for some meaningful projects, as well as some of my ideas, and putting that money toward areas where it really needs to be. And I know the city everybody would like to see their area or their businesses, impacted with this $50 million. But if we can just earmark a certain percentage of it and say, we're going to do triage with this, and then work out the rest through some other means.
So, yes, so new council, new mayor.
New council and mayor.
So, how do you feel like your campaign's going? You've been out there, you've been in the district, you've lived in the district, and your business is in the district, right? Mm-hmm. How do you feel right now?